So indeed it is. There's nothing else for us to do except go away now and splash our light all over the place. But however, we're here to spend a little bit of time with each other, aren't we? Be in each other's company and enjoy that. And be off schedule. Don't you love being off schedule? I love being off schedule. Off schedule. No agenda. It's a beautiful thing. That's why vacations are so very important, my dear ones. Vacations are very important, even if it's only a day's vacation, where you're off schedule and away from agenda, and you don't feel all the time that there is that tyrant over you, cracking a whip. This is the next thing you must do, and the next thing you must do, and cross that one off your list, and you didn't get that off your list, and oh my gosh, look at your list, you've nothing much done of anything today. And that's so not true, because it's just other things got in the way of you crossing off those little things on your list. Don't you find that? And yet, the list becomes silly after a while because, it's just a habit we have of writing things down on a list, imagining, that we're really taking care of business. And some days we don't get to even scratch off the first item on the list. And it's okay. It's okay, as long as our life is productive in whatever way it is productive. But we have to stop seeing life as a list of things to get through and scratch off. I don't believe in bucket lists. Above all, I don't believe in bucket lists. I believe in opportunities every day. Opportunities every day. A bucket list means you're in the future and you're looking towards the end of this life on this plane. The problem with that is it's not the end of life. It's just the beginning of a new phase. And that you and I are living our eternal lives right now. And we're always in the moment. Always in the moment. The moment, the present is always now. There's no such thing as past. There's no such thing as future. Where do I hang out all the time? Today, in the present. Now, there are memories and there are imaginings. Memories from the past, imaginings about the future. They're not always helpful when we travel there. See, that pulls us and pulls us and pulls us and stretches us and pulls us, the past and the future. And it makes the present very uncomfortable, makes the middle part very uncomfortable. We're interested in the filling in the sandwich of life. The bread is the past, the bread is the future, but the filling is always what makes the bread good, isn't it? The filling. Some of us don't even bother with the bread anymore. We wrap it up in a lettuce leaf. So where are we today? Where is our mind today? We're in this room now, but are we in this room now? And if we are in this room now, is our mind laden with heaviness and burdens and things we have to mend and fix and heal and things we have to release and let go of and things we have to attract and bring into our lives? What about just right this minute now? Feeling good about it. My gosh, I gave myself a treat today. I took time out just to be with my soul and give my soul a chance to express itself. That poor soul of yours and mine has always been so slapped down, slapped down, slapped down. Because the ego says, no time for you, no time for you, no place in this day for you. I believe in spiritual spas continuously and constantly, even if it's only a 5-minute one. And we can take 5 minutes. I love this book. It's one of Ernest Holmes' teaching books. It's The Essential Ernest. And what it is it's a compilation of some of his great wisdom. And as I was thinking about this morning and what it might be that we all need to hear, what is it the Spirit wants us to be exposed to in this short time that we have together? And this is what looked up at me. In my bedroom, I have cairns. Do you know what a cairn is? A pile of rocks. They call them cairns. You see them all over the place. Well, mine are books. I have cairns of books because all the bookcases are full. And so I have cairns of books, very nicely stacked. Cairns of books. So this was on the top of one of the cairns that caught my eye, and that's why we're looking at it now. And here he says on page 33, prayer. Prayer does something to the mind of the one praying. It does not do anything to God. The eternal gift is always made. The gift of God is the nature of God, the eternal givingness of life. God cannot help making the gift because God is the gift. We do not have to pray to God for God to respond to us and hear us and know we are here. God is, and God always is, and God is always the same in God's response. And the response is always, yes. Of course you may have that good. Of course that may come into your life. Of course you can release that. Of course you can let that go. Now go off and do it. Because the power has been given to us to do it. We don't need the clouds to open and a figure to appear that says, I'm God. Remember, touched by an angel. I am an angel sent from God, Monica would always say, as she got the little glow around her head. So always within you is the solution to whatever it is you think you need a solution to. And it's a divine solution planted within you because of your divine aspect of being, your soulfulness, the illumination of the light that is within you. Since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, I was taught, you are the temple of the Holy Spirit. You are the temple of the Most High God. God indwells you. Now, we hear all of that, but we only mentally grasp it. Because if we really let ourselves know it, our lives wouldn't be the way they are. And it doesn't matter how good our lives are, they would be super more good if we truly believed that. If we believed it at a knowing level, an awareness level. And what does that mean to begin with? It just means have the ability to be open and receptive to it. Just be open. Just be open. Just be allowing. You see, your good and my good depends upon your ability to be receptive. Receptive. And you might think you are, but perhaps we're not as receptive as we think we are. You know, some of us, when people want to give us something, I say, oh, no, thank you, I can't. That's, no, it's okay. You don't have to do that. You really don't. That's too much. Whenever anybody wants to give you something, take it very graciously and say, thank you so much. How kind of you. This is amazing. Thank you. Of course, unless it's their, diamond 6-carat ring or something like that, because then they're probably a little bit, not right with their minds at the moment, so don't take advantage. But I've had that happen to me where people would offer me things. I say, oh, no, I couldn't take that. No. So we're maybe not as receptive to the givingness of Spirit to us as we might believe ourselves to be. Because if we're in the habit of saying, oh, no, in life, we're going to be in that habit when it comes to everything, inside and out. So let's watch that and be careful about it. The universe always says yes, the universe always says yes, the universe always says yes. You are the universe too. So the answer always is yes. I remember seeing a man being interviewed on public television, many, many years ago. And he was a very, very wealthy man indeed, and a very successful man. And when he was asked the secret of it, he said, well, every single day of my life I made myself a promise that I would, insofar as it is possible, always say yes to life. And he said, I've done that. And I attribute that to my great success. Now, he said it wasn't always easy to do that. And there were odd times when I couldn't do that. But mostly, that's what I succeed in doing. I say yes to life. If a need crosses my path and I can in some way make a difference or whatever be helpful, I will say yes. And here's the thing about that. Not to take it to its extreme, we never have to say no to each other, ourselves of each other, ever. Here's what we can say, and especially those people who are always taking, wanting, gimme, gimme, gimme. When they come and they say, I have this need, will you? You can say, you know what, at this time, that's not what I can do for you, but here's what I can do for you. Even if it's only to say, I can pray with you. I can pray for blessings upon your life. You're not saying no. You're saying what you can do. And it's a whole different energy to it. Now, it's very hard to get out of the habit of saying no. All of us are besotted with the habit of saying no. It's the first thing that comes to our lips sometimes, especially when it's something crazy. You think, no way, no. What part of no don't you understand is written on some people's T-shirts. And yet there's a harshness around that energy, that word. Because it's one of the first things that kind of kicked us in the solar plexus when we were babies, when the adults shouted at us or screamed at us, no, just as we're about to put our finger in a plug or something. And it does something to your system, and it's a remembered energy. You know, we remember that energy because we have a bodily remembrance too. We have a cellular remembrance. Our bodies remember awfulness as well as joy. And that's why you see the little children wearing bibs that say, my name is no, 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 no. I've seen that. And I get it. I get it. So there's all kinds of ways of alleviating the stress in your life and everybody else's as well. And it's the kinder and gentler way. As they say, walk gently but carry the big stick. So when it comes to prayer, it's not something I take off the shelf like my tea caddy when I feel, oh my gosh, I better go make myself a cup of tea. Because for me, a cup of tea is wonderful. It just changes. It's like, tea to me is like Caesar saying to the dog with the behavioral thing, psst, and changing its whole psychology. See, so the tea caddy is my psst. I advise everybody to have it in their lives so it pulls them out of whatever, snaps you out of whatever. So prayerfulness is just a way of being in life. It's not something I'm doing once in a while, or it's not just a magic formula that when I think I need some magic, I either pray myself or ask somebody else to pray for me. No, it's not. Prayerfulness is a sense and a sensibility. It's the constant being in touch with that which is greater than you are, relying upon that which is greater than you are, falling back on that which is greater than you are, especially when you're feeling like this. Your ego has reduced you to this kind of a feeling about yourself. So prayer is an amazing, awesome energy. Prayer is amazing grace. But here's the thing, you're filled with prayer. You're filled with amazing grace. It's your truth, it's your essence. Whether you're just sitting there hearing blah, 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 something then drops in, blah, blah, something drops in. Doesn't matter. Some part of you is getting all of this, and some part of me is getting all of it too. Now, he says, faith, of course, is always linked with prayer. Faith then touches a principle which responds. We may be certain of this. Now, your life and my life is going nowhere if it's not based in faith. Not based. And you may think that you don't have much deep faith at all, but you do. Think about this. Given the nature of our egos to bash each other, and given the nature of our egos to run amok, we have faith in so many things every day. For instance, we are not afraid to go into a room filled with hundreds of people. We do it all the time. We go to meetings, we go to gatherings, we go into restaurants, we mix and mingle with all kinds of people. And we have absolute faith that that's okay, that's all right. Thank God we have that kind of faith. We show up in all kinds of circumstances, and we certainly have the faith that all is well. Some of us have a deeper faith than others, but it doesn't matter. All of us have some kind of faith or another. We get into our cars and we know this car is going to take me to where I want to go. I have faith in the car. We have faith in all kinds of things. I have faith in the alarm clock that's going to wake me up in the morning, etc., etc., etc. So we do have faith. But the thing is, how consciously do we direct it? It's all about conscious direction. Everything is. We should have more faith than we do rather than less. Nor is it foolish to cultivate faith. That's the beauty of everything. You can cultivate it. You haven't got it, cultivate it. You haven't got it, grow it. Acquire it. Oh, I'm no good at this, and I haven't got that, and she has this, and I haven't got that, and so on. Well, I have the sneezes right now. Something's up my nose. I say that to myself when I say, Moira, what's up your nose at the moment? Okay, so he says, all prayers will be answered when we pray aright. No lilies here today. The first necessity is faith. Faith, but somebody may exclaim, this is what has always been taught, and there's nothing new in this. Oh, stop it already. You know, there's a time when I get embarrassed, like at moments like this. I don't do that anymore. I say, oh, whatever. If you want to sneeze, sneeze. So faith then. Faith. Correct, he says. This is not something new. We simply have a new approach to an old truth, a more intelligent, a more systematic way of consciously arriving at faith. This is what prayer treatment is. Why is it that Jesus said to the paralyzed man, take up your bed and walk? Because Jesus knew when he said this that the man would actually get up and walk. He not only believed that there was something to respond to him in the man, but he had an equivalent of its response already in his own consciousness, which is what is necessary. Now here's what happens to you and me. We have this brilliant idea, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it. And we get ourselves all together, and we align ourselves, and we balance ourselves, and we brace ourselves, and we do whatever it is we think we have to do in order to get this really embedded in us. And then we make the statement of what we're going to do. And those of us who use spiritual mind treatment will proclaim it, and shout it out loud. This is what's going to happen. And I'm knowing for myself right here and right now that God is, and God is all there is. And if God is all there is, well, God must be right where I am. And if God is right where I am, in me, through me, and as me, then this is definitely going to happen because I'm one with God. And so because I am, I'm knowing for myself that this wonderful good thing that I desire is already beginning to form itself and is on its way to me. And I can get delighted and excited about that. Because once I speak my word, and once I believe in my word, and once that word is spoken in truth, and I know that it's not just my word that's speaking, but it's the power, it's the presence of the life of the infinite intelligence within me that's speaking that word through me. This good is definitely on its way to me. It's happening. I'm going to express it. I'm going to experience it. And I'm giving thanks for it already now being in place. Thank you, thank you, thank you that this good is mine already. And then I can release it into law, because that's the way it works. I've created the idea. Now I have to drop it into the mold that creates it, which is the law, goes to work on it, and provides all the means by which it must happen. Because it's not my business how this is going to happen. My business is to know what I want to happen, be clear about what I want to happen, back up what I want to happen with all the way I'm thinking, feeling, and behaving myself and doing. And then it's going to happen. However, if having done all of that, 10 minutes later I'm going, oh my God, I hope that's going to work. What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't happen? Oh. And now I've negated my wonderful statement of truth. So what do I have to do now? I have to vamp it up again and say, no, I spoke the truth 10 minutes ago, or this morning, or yesterday, or whenever I did. And I am backing that up now. I'm supporting that now. And I will not let my old habit of doubting and guessing and sabotaging myself through this lack of faith in a creative process that I know works, because I've been working it very, very well on the negative side of my life. How many times have I said, see, told you that was going to happen? See, knew that wouldn't get off the ground. I knew it. Well, of course it didn't get off the ground. You knew it. And you knew it with such great faith. Now, all we have to do is have the same great faith in the affirmative things that we're knowing for those things to happen. So that you could say to yourself, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. I absolutely knew it was going to happen. There was no doubt in my mind. I knew this was going to be. Now, it's as simple and as challenging and as difficult as that. Clarity is your first aim when you want to have something good happen in life. You have to get real clear about it and real sure about it. You can't be, oh, I don't know, do I want it? The universe doesn't know what to do with that. That's you this way on the fence. The universe has nothing to land on. Spirit has nothing by means of law to land on. She wants this. Oh, wait now, I think she wants this. Oh, wait now. Just wait till she gets herself together. Nothing can be done with wishy-washiness. Definiteness. Define your good. Stick to it. Back it up. In spite of everything in your life pointing to the opposite. Isn't that this biblical description of faith? The believing in something that's not in place at all, something that you cannot see. And saying, I don't care. And if the whole world is saying to you, for God's sakes, you're off your mind, you're off your rocker, get a grip. It's when there's not the shred of evidence to back you up that you stiffen your spiritual spine and you stand tall in your resolve, and you know that what's coming to you is happening on the inside, the invisible side of life. It doesn't necessarily have to be seen or whatever, because faith is that which persists in the face of all its opposite. And that's where you and I need to be, that strong in our faith. And sometimes we say, well, how am I going to do that? Because I've always been very weak about these things. And I would say to that, well, that was then. This is now. You're not married to your belief in who you think you are, unless you're married to the belief in who you think you are. You can divorce it. It's a fabulous, wonderful thing when you begin to demonstrate this truth at these levels. And you realize, oh my gosh, there's something to it. This stuff is real. And you never take it for granted to this very day when a demonstration happens, whether it's big or little or small. I say, oh my God, this stuff works. This stuff really works. I get as jazzed about it today as the first time I ever recognized it. Because you know it wasn't you on your own that created this. You know that. Without the shadow of, with my history, I botch up everything that could never have happened with me doing it on my own. So you grow in faith and confidence in the power and the presence of the Spirit of life within you, your true essence and your true nature, yourself at a much higher level of being, your divine self. Well, it's a beauteous thing. There's nothing more beauteous than that. And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter what your pursuits are and how well you pursue and how good the pursuit is. If Spirit is not in the midst of it, nothing will ever satisfy you more than 5 minutes. Doesn't matter if you achieve every goal on your list, accumulate everything you ever wanted to accumulate, get everything you wanted to get, have the circumstances you've ever wanted to have, you still would not be satisfied. Something would be missing. And the something is that in all you're getting and in all you're accumulating and in all you're achieving out there in the world, you forgot to get, accumulate, and achieve from within here. Because the light and the gifts that are within you that didn't get to be expressed yet will irritate the living daylights out of you, no matter what good circumstances you find yourself in. That light that wants to shine through you, those gifts that want to be given through you, will not give you a moment's peace, real peace. You will never come to contentment. There'll always be a discontent. Because that light must be expressed and those gifts must be given, because that's why you're here and that's your nature, to be the givingness of life back onto itself, as is the nature of your Creator, out of which you came and of which you are the very same essence. It's just a matter of degree. That's the only difference. Oh, my dears, we haven't tapped anything like the light and the gifts that are us. And those are the things that truly give us the peace that passes understanding, the joy that is fulfilled and complete, and the abundant life that we're always dreaming of. That's the only thing that does it. And you and I are called to it. It's what you and I can experience, regardless of the circumstances, right up to this moment. And it wouldn't matter if the most debauched person on the planet was sitting in this room right now. It would be the same for that person as it is for you and for me. Same opportunity. I could turn my back on that debauched life like that and become brand new. That's the teaching of any spirituality. We can reform ourselves. We can come back from any deep, dark shadow and move into the light. We really can. It's not just syrupy, sweet stuff to make us feel better for 5 minutes. If the religion or the spiritual teaching that we're engaged in is just a fix for 5 minutes or an hour or a weekend, then it's not worth the salt that it takes to savor that. True religion is religion of the heart. True spirituality is a spirituality of the mind. It has nothing to do with rituals, and it has nothing to do with places and cultures and circumstances and things. Nothing much, I should say. Now, however, having said that, once we embrace spiritual teaching, a very important part of it is ritual. Why is ritual necessary? It reminds us of the sacredness of life. It reminds us of the sacredness of life, and it causes us to pause and to go a little deeper in our thinking. Within you there is awesome power. It's not your power. It's the empowerment that's in you because of the way we were created and the source from whence we came. It's the power of spirit. All the great ones never, ever, ever accepted that they were the ones with the power and they were the ones with the glory. A Buddha said, don't be looking at me, for heaven's sake. Stop looking at me. Look into yourselves. I am but the finger that's pointing at the moon. Stop looking at the finger. Do not stop at the finger, go on to the moon. I'm just like you. You too can realize anything I've realized. You too could be awake. Jesus, do not call me good master. None is good but God alone. No, my word is not my own. It is the word of the one who sent me. I of myself do nothing. It is the power and the presence of the Father within me that does the work. You too can do what I have done, and indeed greater things you can do than I have done. And implied in that is, if you achieve a level of consciousness beyond what I've achieved. You have it. You are enough. You have enough. You have the same enoughness as everybody else on the planet. The question is, how awake are you to your enoughness? The question is, how receptive are you to expressing your enoughness? Your cooperation is needed in your life for your life to flourish and to thrive. You can't just give it up and say, you take care of it. And that's what we all would love to do, have somebody to come in and take care of everything. Like when we were, 2 years of age, pick me up and carry me, Daddy, or Mommy. We still have that feeling within us that we want to be picked up and carried. But if we only knew who we were, what we were, we would be strong and bold, and we would be picking up everything else and carrying it until it could hold firm itself. That's how amazing and great you are. And yet we drag our sorry selves into places like this at times going, God, will it ever end? Or as I heard a friend the other day saying, Dear Lord Jesus, make it stop, as they were drilling outside her office. It's all a mentality and an emotionality that drives us. And you are responsible for your mentality. You are responsible for your emotionality. And if you get those two things right, guess what? This body is going, oh, it's going to be a good day today. We're jazzed, we're vibing, we're energized. She's thinking great thoughts. He's feeling great feelings. This is going to be a great day, body. Get ready. Today is vacation day. We're off to the ocean. Oh, we're off to Disney World. See, every day could be a Disney World, a spiritual Disney World for those of us who think aright and feel aright. And once we're thinking aright and feeling aright, the rest happens like magic. The basic principle of science of mind, which is the practice of the heart, was written by a very great metaphysician when they wrote, you've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. in between. That's a great principle of metaphysics. Simply put, if you want good in your life, you have to stop thinking about and feeling about what is not good. You can only have in your life what you're thinking about and what you're feeling about. That's all. What you're fascinated by, what you're concentrated on, what you're focused on, that's what you will bring into your life, good, bad, or indifferent. You cannot want more great physical vibrancy and health and that sense of youthfulness and that feeling of being up and able and at it if all the time you're thinking, this darn hip, this blinking knee, this shoulder. It's not going to happen because that's where your focus is. And so your hip is going to give you exactly what you're telling your hip about and thinking about with regard to your hip. Your knee will do the same. Your shoulder will do the same. Your stomach will do the same. Because every cell of your body is eavesdropping on every thought that you are thinking, is responding to every feeling that you're entertaining, and is changed by what it hears from you and feels from you. That's a well-known, established medical scientific fact. So stop berating the body, please, people. It's listening and responding to you and agreeing with you. Bless your body. Beautiful hip, good hip, wonderful hip, intelligent hip. I am so sorry. Please forgive me for messing up, getting in the way of your intelligence and preventing you from doing what you are very capable of doing, mending, fixing, healing, and taking care of business. Love your bodies. Praise your body. Bless your body. Thank your body. Take care of your body. Oh, yes, we want the body to do so much for us when we take care of it so miserably in so many ways, and then we expect it to function, at least at par. Makes no sense. If we were to treat our cars the way we treat our bodies sometimes, I'm telling you, we'd soon get the lesson. You are blessed beings. You are mighty beings. You are spiritual beings. You are not of this world. You're in it, but you're not of it. Give the part of you that's not of it focus and attention. Come into cooperation with it. Acknowledge it. Assist it. Be of good rapport with it. Journey into your soul regularly throughout the day. And be warmed and guided by its light. It's not going to be easy if we're not in the practice of doing that. It'll take some time. It's a process. But what else would you be doing with your time? more negating. Isn't it a wonderful thing? What's going on in you just now? Does anybody have a question? Are we all awake still? Good. Good. Does it make sense to you, my dears? Yes. Doesn't it make sense? The first time I walked into a Science of Mind church, everything I heard just made such sense to me. Good sense. I thought, I was going, I know that. I know that. I know that. I didn't know everybody else knew it, but I know that. This makes sense. Yes.
How did you end up walking into the first Science of Mind church and approximately when was that?
Well, metaphysics was always not new to me. I was always interested in metaphysics, and when I was in college, all of my subjects were along the lines of the invisible world and the interior world and so on. And so I was always fascinated by metaphysics. And of course, the mystics were the ones that were always uppermost in my studies, because I found them to be fascinating. And they seemed to me to be the only ones who were spiritually satisfied. And they may have had awful afflictions and in awful circumstances and situations, but they were full of the joy of the life of the spirit within them. And they were amazing, amazing people. I just happened to get a tape from somebody who knew Dr. Bitzer, who used to visit very many centers all over the place. She was one of those nomads that traveled from place to place to place, spiritual nomads. And she gave me a tape, so I went up and I listened to the tape. It was tapes in those days, talking about the latter part of the 80s. And when I'd finished it, I went down, I knocked at her door. I was living in an apartment at that time, and I went down to her apartment, knocked at her door, and I said, who is this man? Because really and truly, we're on the same wavelength. We think the same kind of way. We feel the same about so many different things. Is he still with us? Where is this fellow? Oh, she said, oh, that's Dr. Bitzer. He's just, he's 15 minutes away. He has a church on Sunset. She said, would you like me to take you there on Sunday? They have a service there at 11 o'clock. I said, sure. So I went in and I listened to the service, and I knew immediately, this is it, I'm home. This is it. And when they played, there was a little song they sing, my eyes are open now, I see goodness and truth revealed within me. My eyes are open now, I see Spirit Divine. And they sang that every Sunday, and it's a kind of a lullaby kind of thing. And as they were singing that, in the first 10 minutes I was in, the tears just began to roll down out of my eyes. That's always a good sign too. And the God bumps comes, and you get that sense. And I said, yeah, this is it. And my intention always is I will be with this for as long as this keeps serving the truth as I see it within me and within all of life. And that's now, goodness me, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years. And I still think there's nothing for me better out there, because if there was, I'd be in it. I'd be out of here like a flash. And that's why they got nervous here, because after my 7th year here, they were saying, oh my God, she was 7 years in the convent, she was 7 years in an ashram, and now she's coming up to 7 years here. Please, God. But so far, so good. So,
14 years yet?
it's more, it's 19 years. I will be 15 years here as the senior minister, as the pastor, in October. And then I was 2 years here as the assistant minister before that, and then I was a year here as a staff minister before that. But since I came, my goodness, it was in the early 90s, it was in 1990, I think, that I came to religious science. Metaphysics as religious science, but I've always been, as I say, interested in metaphysics. And what I love about this teaching is that it's the embracing of all the truth in all the strains of religions. Not all their principles or dogmas or doctrines, but the truth that is the golden mean that runs out through all of them. And that was Ernest Holmes' genius. That he studied all the philosophies, he studied all the sciences, he studied all the religions, and he could see the unifying factor in all of it. He saw the oneness in all of it. And he was all about, the oneness. The oneness in everything, in all of life. And so it makes perfect sense to me. And it doesn't make sense to other people, as you may have picked up, because they say, is it a cult? The first thing especially when they would associate it with Scientology, when we were called Science of Mind, Churches of Science of Mind, they were associating that with Scientology, which has nothing to do with Scientology. And we did a survey for over a year amongst all religions and all people who had religion, people who didn't have religion, as to what would be something that would bode well with them on the spiritual side of life. And they all came up with Centers for Spiritual Living, a Center for Spiritual Living. So that's why we adopted that people could identify with that. It wasn't too threatening in a way, it wasn't too religious. And see, we're not so much into religion as we are into spirituality. And so we do really get to practice love everyone, do good to those who hate you, pray for those who persecute you, and despitefully use you, as is the great command from the Master Teacher Jesus. Now, Ernest Holmes says, the teaching we present to the world is the teaching of Jesus Christ. We are Christians, but we are more, and that's very important. And he's not talking about the organized Christian religion. He's talking about the pure teaching of Jesus. Remember, Jesus was a Jew, never knew he was a Christian, never wanted to be a Christian, didn't want to be anything other than the Jew he was. But he was an iconoclast. He was a Jew with a difference. He was a Jew that irritated every official of Judaism. He got under their skin, on their last nerve. They couldn't stand the man because he was disrupting the apple cart, and he had to be eliminated. And it was the conniving, scheming Jewish leaders that got Pilate to do what Pilate did. Now, having said that, and having been a Catholic nun, I'm very happy with my past. I have nothing against anything. I have nothing against the Catholic Church, nothing at all. Not one thing. Everything that I have been engaged in has brought me to where I have now. And when I was a nun, I loved being a nun. It's just that, as my mother would say, man proposes and God disposes. You just don't know where you're going to end up. And when I was entering the convent, if anybody said I'd be standing here one day speaking with you like this, I'd laugh and say, don't be ridiculous. I thought I was going to be a nun forever. You see. I was a little bit more tentative when I was attending the ashram, which was a great, great spiritual education for me. And, when they called me aside at one time and said to me, if you really want to take your spirituality seriously, you will think of becoming a sannyasin, which would be to enter, the religious part of the... I said, excuse me now, let me tell you about me taking my spiritual life seriously. Been there, done that, and I bought that T-shirt. And a habit or a robe does not a spiritual being make. And so I learned. I was very careful. I took the good from it. I gave good to it. And when it served its purpose, it served its purpose for me. And what I loved about this is it doesn't ask you to be anything. It says this particular teaching can help you to be a much better Catholic, a much better Jew, a much better Muslim, a much better Buddhist, a much better whatever you are, and a much better atheist. It's not instead of anything. It's in addition to. It's not, you don't have to give up anything. It's in addition to, which is why As some of you know, we have people who go to Mass on Saturday and come here on a Sunday. They go to temple on Friday night and they come here on Sunday. I mean, it's not anything. And we do not seek converts. We tell people, oh, you know, just go and be your great good self in your own spiritual community. Unless, of course, they really want to make the change. But we do not proselytize at all. And that's what I like about us. Everybody's welcome. And to be part of the spiritual community to me is a great blessing and a great gift. Anyway, yeah, I'll first of all close, and then if people have to go to their lunches and things like that, or they have meetings, they can do that. And so we'll close with our, having said that, with our little ritual of reciprocity. Receive, we give, we receive, and it's a wonderful thing. And so now we are going to take our gift between our amazing hands, and we're going to bless that gift, and we're going to say, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. All those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my treasure. And I release my gift with love. And so it is.